Hello, thank you again for joining us in this chapter story. Today's entitled Parents, Kids, and Their Questions. Joining me today is Abigail Huber. She is Director of Children's Ministry at Weaverland. And Abigail, great to have you joining us today. You are deeply involved, of course your life is involved in children's ministry, so I'd like to just have you engage and share with us your experience in this difficult journey that we've been on. Mm-hmm. But what did you, in your role, what did you begin to hear from kids and youth?
Yeah, so right off the bat, it was very clear to see that everyone's going to experience it differently and process the emotions that they're feeling differently. We saw that among youth, just in the way that they needed to process, whether that be kind of go inward and just think on their own, or process with other people or with another adult. And kids, they also had a lot of questions just because they didn't understand what had happened. And high schoolers, middle school and high school, just had a little bit better of an understanding of what had actually happened, because maybe their parents spoke more candidly with them and they were involved in more of the information that was given out. While we saw that children, their parents don't want to have to share these things with them, and so that left them a bit confused and very unsure of what is okay and what's not. And there was also questions like, when will he be back? And that's just heartbreaking, because it was just such a quick turn of events that it just shell-shocked them a lot. And also then, as parents tried to navigate how to talk to their children about what had happened, and they're telling them, oh, it had to do with the internet. Then all of a sudden you have children who are wondering, so am I going to get in trouble for using the computer? Am I going to get in trouble for going on the internet? Which is not the case. This is just a very specific situation that has happened. So yeah, just a lot of, especially with kids, a variety of questions and a lot of confusion, which you want to be able to address, but is very difficult with that age.
So parents, particularly with children, more than one child, may have younger children, older children, and the questions, what I'm hearing you say, are very different depending on what age it was coming from. So what did you find that parents were beginning to express, or questions that parents were beginning to express that we'd like some help on?
Yeah. Some of the questions that I know I heard were for parents of older children and youth even, that were kind of turning inward or didn't want to necessarily process with their parents. The parents, though, are left like, what is my child thinking? Like, what are they going through? And wanting to be able to talk to them and how to draw those things out of them so that they can have conversations that can eventually be healing for them. But also then younger parents especially of children that would have interacted with our pastoral student ministries, are wondering, are my children safe? And especially I know individuals got questions like, are there victims? Which that's a really valid question. It all goes into the question of, are my kids safe? And that kind of goes back to the Safe Church questions of, and we're thankful that that was in place and how that impacts our church life. And then also, how do I talk to my kids about these issues? A lot of parents wrestle with, I don't want to have to bring up these issues that these children shouldn't have to even think about or know anything about. Yet they want to be the ones to give them the answers rather than them going and searching for the answers on their own.
That's really good. And so you have this diversity, or this tension of older children, younger children, preteens, post-teens, and so it looks very differently in how you navigate that, and where parents are finding the tensions within their own households. So what did you learn then as far as the variety of concerns that are coming out of such an experience from a parental and from a child's perspective? Yeah,
that's a great question. One other thing I did want to mention is the way that we did learn about what parents were dealing with was through a survey that we put out, just to kind of gauge, what do you need help with in this time? Where are you at as parents? Where are your children at? And that was very insightful to help us understand what they needed and how we could help them the best. And then what I would say I learned is that every family is different, and within that family, each child is processing differently, children and youth. And so you have to tread very lightly because there's so many deep emotions that are involved throughout this event that has occurred and how it's impacted different people based on what they've been through, whether that be the parents or the children in the household. So yeah, just wanting to be very gentle and caring as we respond to their questions and handle each situation, each question that we get with care and very personally.
So there's many tentacles to such an event, and has lots of layers to it.
Yeah.
And to be able to have a space, a place in a space to be able to address both the questions of kids, preteens, post-teens, and as well as the parents themselves.
Yeah.
So thank you, Abby, for joining us today, and I trust that as we continue to journey into this experience, that these tools can be helpful in your own context. So thanks again for joining us today.